Own media is the number one paradox I think every Web3 brand needs to understand, and that includes you. You see, there's no doubt about the fact that we have mastered the art of trustless transactions as an industry, but we are failing at the most fundamental part of community building, which is capturing and owning audience attention. So, by the way, this has nothing to do with mindshare. Let's create a scenario together that you probably know too well. For example, Web3 brand invest thousands of US dollars in resources into community building and, for example, user acquisition, and they're optimizing for metrics of audiences that they do not own across accounts on platforms and channels that they do not also own. You know the platforms, right? And common platforms like X, for example, YouTube, for example, Discord, Telegram, and other marketing channels like influencer accounts, podcast platforms, name it. The core problem with this actually is that Web3 is built on the very ethos of decentralization, where your most valuable asset in marketing should actually be the one thing that you own as a brand or a creator, and that is your audience, which in this case, your email list. And in this kind of context, that email list with a bunch of audience data is now your platform, where you can create your own rules of engagement, build your own brand experience, and when you start to think about it, you remember the famous quotes that we use in Web3 where we say, not your keys, not your coins. Well, in this same context, not your platform, not your audience. So you think about it. If you can't systematically communicate with users and audiences, your users and audiences, outside of the echo chamber of platforms and channels that you do not own, across the small total addressable market of crypto Twitter, don't you think you're essentially renting attention from landlords? In this case, the platforms and channels who can maybe, for example, change the rules, change the prices, like, for example, banning your account for a start, and you having little to nothing to do about it. In my opinion, I think email marketing in Web3 remains the number one channel, or the one channel where you control the entire experience of your user with your brand and your product, from inbox to building a personal relationship with them, all the way to conversion, which in many cases might include sales. At this point, you should probably start to think, okay, yeah, that might make sense. Well, this is why you should care. So in the past 1 year, for example, I think 1 year, 6 months, thanks to my role as head of email marketing at Surgeons, I have overseen hundreds of successful email marketing campaigns, and I could easily say to you that there is more to email marketing than sending or blasting emails and newsletters to people's inboxes. It's more about building an owned media audience outside of the echo chamber of centralized platforms like the one you're currently watching this on. This can be on YouTube and X, for example, which is not a bad thing, but you need to own your audience. You need to own your users. You need to own their attention, and you need to have a direct relationship with them. But in a bid to do that, it gets very interesting, because Web3 itself presents a unique challenge that traditional email marketing frameworks are simply designed to handle. Trust me, because crypto audiences like you and I, we think, behave, and require different trust mechanisms compared to Web2 audiences, for example. And when you add in complex compliance requirements, challenges grows. When you also add in the subtle but nerve-wracking need to integrate with blockchain data, challenges grows even more. And then when you add in the reality that your audience might be an unknown holder who you have an email of theirs, which would also be a burner, challenges even increases them more. You see, when you stack these issues up very much, you already arrive at a marketing puzzle that requires a completely new way to think about email marketing. You see, it requires, I tend to think of it like a shift in your thinking. And this shift in thinking determines how you build a sustainable user experience outside of the cocoon of vanity metrics and vanity metric chasing that happens on centralized platforms. Now, starting with brands and you too, understanding why email marketing is a coordination layer, which is one of the first shift in thinking, rather than a remitting 870 shotgun that you can use to blast emails across people's inbox, start to change the way you think about email. Because in a sense, email marketing in Web3 is pretty much a coordination layer where you coordinate marketing campaigns. Now, let me break it down. I like to think of email marketing as a conductor with a role to lead the orchestra. Like, so just imagine that guy black in the suit leading the entire orchestra for a music performance. So email marketing is that kind of guy where with a good list acquisition funnel, you can coordinate scattered audience touch points into coherent user experiences, for example. And this means that if it's done properly well, you have your most active audience on X and Discord on your email list in one place, not scattered this time around. So instead of hoping that a percentage of your community sees your communications on X, then maybe another 5% sees your communication on Discord announcement if they're online and if they're on Discord at the time of posting it, or if they even bother coming on your Discord server, then another percentage sees your communication on a carrier post who made an announcement of it or retweeted your post, and then maybe another percentage sees on a founder's post. Email marketing ensures you have your entire active audience in one place and ensures everybody in your core audience receives your communications in their inbox, and they can also get redirected to the other posts on X, Discord, blogs with just a simple CTA button. You see, that is the power of email marketing. I really believe having your core audience in your list is a big flex brand should be obsessed with. Having your communications, seen by users who really ask to see those communications, I think that is mind share. But it's even better when you can segment this user based on their behaviors with your email marketing, and where you can speak to your active users, optimize for open rates and click-through rates, and then build out very, 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 very interesting compliance first content, which is very, very key. You need to be able to build content that is very, very compliant, right? And adopt value first communication principles where you must not shield every time. You can actually communicate value instead of having to shield your products in that kind of sense. When you think about email as that coordination layer, you start to optimize for community coherence, and you stop broadcasting updates, and you just stop optimizing for vanity messages like mindshare, tweets, reach, those kinds of things. And you really prioritize who your real users are, you understand? And then you optimize for that. And it creates a completely bigger picture. Because when platforms change algorithms and communities fragment across channels, the brands with the strongest direct relationship with their users compound their advantages big time. You see, your email list is the only audience you can verify that you own. And the question isn't whether we need email marketing in Web3. I really think that the question is whether brands are really ready to stop renting audience chronically and start owning audience and building direct relationship with them. Because at the end of the day, direct relationship with people that actually ask to have those direct relationship with you matters more than people who are just doom scrolling on social media, who really have no intentions of seeing your communications for a start, right? Curating those really, really, really interesting audiences allows you to start building those direct relationships and creating a sustainable community. Not just sustainable community, a very, very coherent community. And this is pretty much the essence of the foundation layer. So Web3 email marketing is an incredible resource that many brands should find interesting. And by implementing it, brands can begin to actually take a step further to actually having something that is very useful, very, very projective, in the sense that you can optimize for real metrics based on their behavior with your emails, as opposed to metrics like and retweet and comment. You can optimize for clicks and open rates, right? You can optimize for replies. You can optimize for actions taken based on requests made on your calls for actions. And when you start to see these things, you start to understand that, okay, yeah, there's a bigger picture. Retention is also another part of these things. And this is exactly why you should change the way you think about email marketing, because it opens and unlocks a completely new door to audience retention in a way that you've probably not thought is possible. So if you found this very helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. I'm going to drop in more email marketing content on this channel, where I just come and talk about my experience running thousands of email marketing campaigns, and then strategies that brands can implement real time to be able to actually have incredible success in what they're doing. My name is Abrodi Olusegun Isaac. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Bye.